Cougar Sports Saturday.
It's complete. Another touchdown!
Cougar Sports Saturday. A presentation of KSL Sports.
Left wing for three. He got it again!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Here are your hosts, Mitch Harper and Matt Baiamonte. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars. KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday. Hope all of you are having a fantastic weekend. KSL News Time, 1:36 p.m.
I'm having a great weekend. Not that you asked, but I just have to share.
I'm
quickly.
glad.
I went to the Provo Farmers Market this morning.
How was that?
Spectacular. Bought some homemade jam, some salsa with fruit brought in from Ecuador. And guess who I saw at the Provo Farmers Market?
Who?
Someone enjoying retirement.
Dave Rose?
Tom Holmoe.
Oh, wow.
Tom Holmoe and the fam enjoying the Provo Farmer. He looked like he was having a great time. I left him alone.
He's got to be enjoying life. Now he's not worrying about fielding questions from folks like me, dealing with all the headaches of revenue sharing. Like, yes, he got BYU in the Big 12. His job is done.
Yeah,
like,
he looked like he was having a good time.
He's probably going to get younger over the next year. Honestly, like being in college athletics these days, I don't envy these guys and women that are in college administration. Like that is every day. Like anything like you might have it comfortable right now, today. It could change tomorrow. Some lawsuit could just bring the house down. And, I mean, revenue sharing feels like it brings more stability, but I feel like we still have so many more questions. Coming out of Big 12 Media Day, still, there were so many coaches and and media that's still just like, how is this actually working? Like, what is actually happening? What determines NIL go? None of us truly know.
Yep.
So I'm sure Tom is enjoying himself. Are you a frequent farmer's market guy?
No, but I might start becoming one.
Okay.
It's fun to see all this stuff that, hardworking people. Like we bought corn. And the prices are great at farmers markets too. It's fresh. They're not to go non-GMO or health crazy here, but like it's all local too. So I don't know. Maybe I am becoming a farmer's market guy. Hey, if it's good enough for Tom, it's good enough for me.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time. I know there's one here in Salt Lake too, right off every Saturday. But I always
that one scares me a little bit because of that park. But
I always avoid it. I always go the 6 North exit,
yeah, same
so I
here.
would never see it. When I'm coming into the building
I'm sure
here on
it's great,
Saturdays.
but that park's it's not my favorite park. Let's.
I agree. But what is my favorite segment here on this show is the Top 5.
The Cougar Sports Saturday Top 5. Top 5. Mitch and Matt clash in a weekly battle of BYU sports knowledge. Here's the Top 5.
We bring in producer Nate Slack for the Top 5. He holds it down here. Gives us this list of 5 that we have to guess. Matt and I have nothing in front of us. People think, honestly, that we have all this data and info and names in front of us. No, we're just going on the edge of our seat here a little bit, which can be some very interesting or maybe take a downturn radio production side. But
before we bring Nate in,
yes,
he's getting the official list to the board op. We don't look at this list. We don't. I mean, it's precious too. It's sort of like the Oscars from a couple of years ago. Got to make sure that thing is hand delivered to the right people. And we're still working on it. There's no marketing firms who confirm this list, but it does need to be delivered by hand without us seeing it. And that's happening right now. And then we will bring in Nate Slack to introduce said list. But it's of the utmost importance that this top 5 list is kept secret. It's not digital. There's no digital trails. There's no text messages. It's written on a sticky note and hand delivered to our board op. And with that being said, it's been delivered. So Nate Slack, what is said list?
That was impressive. Look, I'll be honest. Matt, you brought in some donuts this morning.
It was your birthday last week.
It was my birthday last week.
And I had, honestly, in full disclosure, I was never going to acknowledge it until Mitch brought it up. So then I felt bad. I had to make amends for forgetting
The sugar got to my brain. I forgot to hand Tito the list. But here we are.
This isn't going to be a La La Land situation from a couple years ago, is it?
No, this is a good list. So, you talked about being in. You're out of your seat. 6 weeks from now, I'll be in my seat, Lavelle Edwards Stadium.
Where is your seat this year?
So we're in the same section as we were last year. In the past, we've been in Portal 129. So it's the northeast corner on one of the drop-offs, and we moved down about 20 rows. So we're closer to the field, but I'm still in that drop-off, so nobody's getting up in front of me to go to the bathroom to go get their concessions. It's a good spot.
Nice.
But this week's list, we're going to be looking.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Mitch, do your kids have seats this year? Where are they sitting?
They do. They will be in the west sideline this year. Moving on up, they were in the east section, right by the rock.
Okay.
So the kind of the east sideline, but that first section.
That's not student.
That's right. Yeah, non-student section in the east. They will be on the west sideline. I think around the 40-yard line this year. So they are going to have some very, very good seats, and they're hyped. I mean, all of them are just really pumped to go to Cougar football games, and good reason. I think that's all of Cougar Nation, as they had sellout seats this week.
All right, Nate.
So this week's list, we're looking at conference level. So we're going to be looking at the top 5 teams in terms of all-time home winning percentage for the conference.
For the Big 12.
For the Big 12. So the Big 12 teams that have had the best winning percentage all time at home. So I don't have their total numbers of wins. We're just going purely off winning percentage.
Okay.
You don't have to say it in order. Just give the team name, and we'll dive into their numbers. And Matt started last week, so we're starting with Mitch this week.
Let's go with BYU.
Yeah, BYU number 3. So they have a winning percentage of 68.5%. It's pretty solid. You think about those early days. We've had Val Hill on the show, and we've had some of the BYU communications guys who wrote a book. Those early days of BYU football, they really struggled. And so it's pretty cool that they've been able to have a big winning percentage despite their woes in the 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Yeah, I mean, Lavelle Edwards Stadium, it's got a brand now as being electric at night, and I think it's also great in the daytime. I think BYU's done a great job in the last 20 years of, one, improving the game day where your attention is always being drawn to something. Like, there is no downtime during a BYU football game, so it keeps the fan base energized. I think also the fans just all wearing blue. I mean, it is quite a scene. BYU home games are just dynamite. Going around the Big 12 and seeing some of the other places, you really start to gain an appreciation of how good BYU game days have become. And it wasn't that way all the time. I think for fans, growing up when we did, and for fans that experienced the glory years in the 80s, it was not always like this. And I think it's really fun. And I think it's honestly capturing, like, it resonates with pretty much any era of Cougar fan. And then you add in the winning, that makes everything better as well.
I was going to touch on this in Cougar Tales, but BYU sold out of season tickets this year for the first time ever, so almost 44,000 season tickets being sold. Do you think BYU needs to expand the stadium at all, or keep it at what it is?
I think they should actually modernize it and
Yes.
maybe reduce it a hair.
I'm with Matt. I'd go down to like maybe 59, 58. You're going to sell out every week for that. Guaranteed. Even if there's some down years, you're getting sold out crowds with that. And I just think just kind of the stadium, the bones are good, you could say, but it's just feeling a little old on the exterior. You pull up to that thing, it doesn't have this. Maybe it's just a case of we see it all the time, but so we've seen it over the years, but it just feels a little bit where I'd like to see something more modernized. I don't know what that would look like. I always target the West Grandstand as the area to do that, because the press box, the seating that underneath that concourse, I mean, that's from the bones of the original stadium in the 60s when it was Cougar Stadium, when it was just the West and East. That's what that concourse was. So that, to me, is the area where I target and say that's where improvement can be made. Because that new mezzanine, I think you put that in, that kind of signals you're not going to be making it a bowl when they brought that in 2019. So I would target the west side as an area for improvement. I love the new lighting system. at the stadium. The scoreboards are outstanding. I just think you got to uplift that west side, and then maybe that trims down some seating down to 60 or 59. I know they had a downtick last year with kind of that corporate seating on the east side, but that would be my only adjustment, really. Other than that, maybe kind of give a facelift on the outside facade as well.
Yeah, I like that. All right, Matt, you're up.
Let's go with the Utes.
Utah sneaks in at number 5. They're 67.2%, so just about 1% lower than BYU, but they're also another team that, especially in the last decade or so, their home games have stepped it up quite a bit.
I don't think we need to see anything else there. Let's move on to the next guest.
On to Mitch.
Rice Eccles is tough, though. It
really is.
I mean, it's I think that I don't know what it was last year. That game, BYU was the undefeated team, and it was just like, why does this? Maybe it's just BYU and Utah, so we see it at a different level.
Well, Chase Roberts at Media Day too is asked by the Big 12 where the hardest places he's played, and he said Rice Eccles because if he couldn't hear the quarterback talking.
But what's crazy though is that Utah is still looking for their first home win in Big 12 play as a Big 12 member.
I did see that on social media this week and had a bit of a chuckle there.
I didn't realize that because their only wins were Oklahoma State and UCF, both on the road.
Yeah.
So they're still looking for their first home win.
You're up, Mitch.
Okay, let's go with Arizona State.
Yeah, Arizona State, number 2 on the list, 69%, so just ahead of BYU at number 2. Another spot where BYU had a chance to win last year. They kind of sleptwalk in the first half. But that's a game. I've never been to that stadium. Have you guys been in person to the stadium?
The old
on
one.
The hillside?
Well, the old one and last year, too. We were there last season.
Oh, that's right.
But we were there last year for the chaos, but then I went to the old version when it was hosting Super Bowls and Fiesta Bowls back in the day when it was like a 70,000-seat stadium. I like the new one. I think it's pretty cool.
I thought it was pretty great.
I thought it was awesome. It's pressed up against that hill, that
it's
mountain.
right in the thick of campus, too, which I like.
It was cool. And maybe again with it being BYU and Arizona State, two ranked teams. It was dynamite. Like that atmosphere was great. I love that BYU ASU game. I'm sad, honestly, BYU's not playing them this year. I would love for BYU to get another crack at Sam Leavitt and Arizona State because even last year at the end of the season, BYU coaches and players were like, "Man, we want another shot at them." Like they just wanted so badly one more crack at ASU, and now they got to wait till 2027. But I'm curious though to see if Arizona State can keep it going. They had that great year. Now can they continue to be something great? They were that in the WAC. Before they left for the Pac-10 back in the day when BYU was with them in the WAC. Can they recapture that sort of glory again now in this new look Big 12? They're already off to a good start by being the Big 12 champ last year.
Arizona State's off the list, BYU is off the list, and Utah. Back to Matt for a chance to tie.
How about the great state of West Virginia?
You guys are rolling through this. West Virginia is number 4, 67.5%. Another team, they're pretty good. They're a really decent team. I feel like people sleep on them quite a bit. Even 2 years ago, was it, where they were a top 25 team? They had, I think they finished.
Yeah, they were 9-4
wins
last year.
Yeah.
Preseason number 14, last place team, and surprised everyone with a 9-win campaign. So if you're preseason last place, you don't have to worry about this year. But last 2 years, you've been a really good team in the Big 12.
Yeah, I think they were dang good in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah, well, and they had in the 80s too when they were independent with Don Nalen. They've even with Rich Rod, the first stint. I mean, they got up to number 2. They beat Pitt in 2007, and they're going to the national title game, and then they choked and lost to Pitt with Dave Wannstedt, and they really never recaptured it. And then Rich Rod left for Michigan, and now he's back in Morgantown to kind of recapture that glory. They got those helmets back again. But, yeah, West Virginia's always had a good program. I mean, you look at – they're kind of like BYU where for national people where that maybe look at the sport from a national perspective, it kind of sometimes gets overlooked. But then you dive into their history and go, they got a lot of wins. They got a lot of rich tradition, but they maybe don't have as much winning as BYU as far as national championships, Heisman winners, things like that. But yeah, West Virginia's got a really strong history of football success in its program.
And Mitch, you've been to a lot of the Big 12 stadiums now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you said West Virginia was your favorite, wasn't it? Or
it was
the top?
I think that stadium to me was just really cool because one, it was a bigger capacity, similar to BYU. and just they were just really energized and engaged in the game, and it felt even though it wasn't completely a sold out crowd, it was just it was a really cool setting. How Matt talked about ASU's was in the thick of campus. This was in the thick of the school, but a small town, and I kind of like that vibe. It's sometimes a headache to travel to. You got to fly into Pittsburgh and then drive to Morgantown, drive down south. But I just thought it was a really cool setup. It was really unique, and I just think you sense the passion. And I think that's one of the things about these Big 12 venues, and hopefully this league can continue to gain a bigger national profile. It's like these fan bases, they really care about their teams. Maybe they don't have 100,000 strong on a given Saturday like some of the SEC teams, but man, these places you go in there, it is tough to win in these venues because these fan bases, they care, they're invested, they spend a lot of money, and it's just a rocking atmosphere. And West Virginia too, what was also crazy was as far as student sections go, that was probably the most foul-mouthed one, pulling out the cliches. ASU was up there too, but even West Virginia pregame, it was just like, it was really bad, but they didn't have much to cheer about after BYU got hammered 37-7, and it's like we went about our own day. So there we go.
So Matt went first last week, didn't take advantage of it. He lost. Mitch went first this week, and this is a chance for the win. To me, this is tough. I got two teams that are in mind here. I'm going to go with the younger one, UCF.
Oh, boy. Good one.
70% of their home games they have won.
Wow.
Crazy.
They've only been a D1 team since 96, and I thought to myself, and I ran it in my head, 96 to now, they've been pretty good outside of that 2015 year with George O'Leary where they were 0-12. And I remember there was some bar on campus that was like, we will give you free food every time they lose. Hopefully they win so we can stop giving you free food, but it ended up being the whole year. And then Scott Frost came in and really turned it around. But they've always been pretty good. Whereas you think about the rest of the Big 12, Kansas State, I think they still had the worst losing percentage or winning percentage in college football still. Maybe it's changed in the last 40 years. Not them, not Kansas. Texas Tech's always been a perennial 6-7 win team, not them.
And they're number 6. Texas Tech is number 6, 65.5%.
Interesting. I was going to say Colorado. Where are they?
7.
Okay. Yeah, Colorado and UCF, the two black and gold teams, because Colorado had that run in the late 80s, early 90s in the Big 8. But really, you go through the league, Iowa State, they had their first double-digit win season this past year, and you just kind of played those little angles in your head, and you're thinking, it's not Baylor. Baylor was terrible for a whole decade in the 2000s until Art Briles and RG3. I mean, you just kind of go through this, and it's like, I think it's UCF, and I was lucky. So I kind of talked my way into it. Kind of
5 in a row, huh? Wow. Impressive.
Thank you. That's a big win. I pride myself on my Big 12 knowledge, so I'm very proud of this win. So that was a good list.
That was a good list.
We'll make it tough for next week.
Who has the worst home winning percentage? Is it K-State?
I don't have that. I only have the top 8. So UCF,
Okay.
Arizona State, in order, UCF, Arizona State, BYU, West Virginia, Utah, and then 6, 7, 8 is Texas Tech, Colorado, and Houston.
Houston. Okay. Yeah, Houston's had some years too. I mean, even recently with Tom Herman, what was that, 7 or 8 years ago, they went to the Peach Bowl and then Southwest Conference with Andre Ware. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that program gets going. But good stuff. Good list.
Good list.
Nate, and I will take that dub into the weekend. Let's take a break, and we'll have more BYU football talk on the other side.